Your car makes a noise it's never made before. That grinding sound that means something expensive just broke. You know you need to take it to a mechanic. You also know you have $247 in your checking account and no idea how you're going to pay for whatever's wrong. So you ignore it, keep driving, and pray it doesn't get worse. Except it does get worse. And now the $400 repair is a $1,200 repair because you waited. This is what life looks like without an emergency fund. You're not making bad decisions because you're irresponsible. You're making bad decisions because you have no financial buffer. Every unexpected expense becomes a crisis. Every problem gets worse because you can't afford to fix it when it's small. You're in survival mode, and survival mode makes you poorer. Here's what nobody tells you about emergency funds. You don't need 6 months of expenses saved before this changes. You don't even need 3 months. The psychological shift happens at $1,000. That's the amount that handles most common emergencies without destroying your finances. And you can get there in 30 days if you're willing to be intense about it for 1 month. Research from the Federal Reserve shows that 37% of Americans couldn't cover a $400 emergency expense without borrowing money. But studies from the J.P. Morgan Chase Institute show that households with just $1,000 in liquid savings experience dramatically less financial volatility than households with zero. That first $1,000 isn't the finish line. It's the foundation that makes everything else possible. And I'm going to show you exactly how to build it in the next 30 days. Week 1. The Cash Blitz. You're not going to save your way to $1,000 in 30 days on a typical budget. The math doesn't work. If you could save $250 per week consistently, you'd already have an emergency fund. This month isn't about sustainable habits. This is a sprint. You're going to generate cash through methods you can't maintain long-term, and that's fine. This is temporary and focused. Day 1 through 3, you're selling everything you don't need. Research from OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace shows that the average household has $3,000 to $5,000 worth of items they no longer use. You're not selling everything you own. You're selling the stuff that's been sitting in your closet for a year that you forgot existed. Studies on consumer behavior show that people dramatically overestimate how much they'll miss items they haven't used recently. That exercise equipment gathering dust? You're not going to start using it. The designer clothes that don't fit anymore? They're not fitting later either. The electronics you upgraded from 2 years ago? Worthless to you, valuable to someone else. List everything on Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, and Craigslist simultaneously. Price items to move fast, not to maximize value. You're not trying to get top dollar. You're trying to convert unused stuff into cash within 72 hours. Research shows that items priced 20 to 30% below market value sell within 48 hours, while items priced at market value sit for weeks. Target realistic earnings, $200 to $400 in week 1 from selling stuff. That's 20 to 40% of your $1,000 goal from items you're not using anyway. Days 4 through 7, you're picking up immediate gig work, not building a side hustle empire, just generating fast cash for this specific month. DoorDash, Uber, TaskRabbit, whatever's available in your area that pays quickly. Data from gig economy platforms shows that new drivers typically earn $15 to $25 per hour after expenses. You don't need to quit your job. You need 10 to 15 extra hours this week. 3 hours Friday evening, 6 hours Saturday, 4 hours Sunday. That's 13 hours at $20 average, which is $260. Combined with selling stuff, you should hit $460 to $660 by end of week 1. You're nearly halfway to $1,000 in 7 days, and you haven't touched your regular paycheck yet. Week 2. The expense elimination. Week 2 is about stopping financial bleeding immediately. You're not building sustainable budget habits. You're finding every dollar that's leaving your account unnecessarily and redirecting it to your emergency fund. Research from Truebill shows that the average American has $273 in monthly subscriptions, but only actively uses about $120 worth. You're going to cancel everything except absolute necessities for this month. Everything. Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, Spotify, gym membership, all of it. Gone for 30 days. You can reactivate next month if you want. This isn't forever. This is 1 month of intensity to build your foundation. Studies on subscription services show that most people don't even notice canceled subscriptions for 2 to 3 weeks because they weren't using them anyway. Cancel every subscription by day 8. Now, that frees up approximately $150 to $200 for the month, depending on what you were carrying. That money goes straight to your emergency fund. Days 9 through 11. Implement a complete spending freeze on all non-essential purchases. Food, rent, utilities, transportation to work, that's it. Everything else stops. No eating out, no coffee shops, no Amazon orders, no just this one thing. Research from behavioral economists shows that spending freezes work because they eliminate decision fatigue. You're not deciding whether each purchase is justified. The answer is automatically no for everything non-essential. Studies show that this binary approach is more successful than trying to moderate spending. Days 12 through 14. You're meal prepping the cheapest nutritious food possible. Not forever. For this week. Rice, beans, pasta, eggs, frozen vegetables, whatever's cheap and filling at your grocery store. Data from the USDA shows that a thrifty food plan costs about $50 per person per week versus $90 for a moderate plan. If you normally spend $100 weekly on food and you cut to $50, that's another $50 toward your emergency fund. Combined with the subscription cancellations, you've freed up $200 to $250 in week 2 without selling anything else. Week 3, the income acceleration. Week 3 is about maximizing income temporarily. You're continuing the gig work from week 1 but adding additional income sources that pay quickly. Research from Pew shows that 16% of Americans have earned money from online gig platforms. This week, you're expanding beyond food delivery and rideshare. Days 15 through 17. Sign up for every quick pay platform available. Instacart for grocery shopping, Rover for dog walking, Care.com for odd jobs, Fiverr if you have any marketable skills. Studies on platform economics show that new users often get preferential treatment with better orders or gigs to encourage engagement. Use that. You're not building a sustainable business. You're maximizing earnings for 2 more weeks. Target another $300 to $400 this week from combined gig work. That's roughly 15 to 18 hours at $20 to $25 per hour. Yes, this is exhausting on top of your regular job. That's why this is a 30-day sprint, not a lifestyle. Days 18 through 21, ask for overtime at your primary job if it's available, or pick up an extra shift. Research from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that 43% of jobs offer overtime opportunities at time and a half pay. One extra 8-hour shift at time and a half could be $150 to $200 in additional income. If overtime isn't available, you're filling those hours with more gig work. The goal is maximizing every available hour this week for income generation. Week 4, the final push. By week 4, you should be close to your $1,000 goal, but probably not quite there. Research on goal achievement shows that the final 15 to 20% is often the hardest because fatigue sets in. This is where most people quit. You're not going to quit. Days 22 through 25, you're doing one final purge of sellable items. Go through your house again. There's more stuff you missed. Books, kitchen gadgets, tools, furniture you don't need, everything. Studies show that people find approximately 30% more sellable items on a second pass because they're now thinking differently about what has value. Price everything to move immediately. You're 4 days from your goal. You don't have time for negotiations or waiting for the right buyer. Target another $100 to $150 from this final selling push. Days 26 through 30, you're continuing gig work, but you're also looking for one-time cash opportunities. Neighbors need yard work? Do it. Someone needs help moving? Do it. Facebook local groups often have people looking for immediate help with random tasks. Research from TaskRabbit shows that one-time tasks often pay $50 to $100 for just a few hours of work. You need maybe 2 or 3 of these to close the final gap to $1,000. The psychology of intensity. Here's what makes this 30-day approach work when traditional saving fails. Research from behavioral economics shows that people can maintain intense effort for short periods, but struggle with moderate effort long-term. You can sprint for 30 days, you can't jog for 30 years. Studies from the Journal of Consumer Research show that people who set short-term, intense goals are 64% more likely to achieve them than people who set long-term, moderate goals. The finish line is visible. The timeline is concrete. The effort level, while unsustainable long-term, is manageable short-term. This is why you're not trying to develop better saving habits or build a sustainable budget. Those are important later. Right now, you're in emergency mode generating $1,000 as fast as possible through methods you can't and won't maintain forever. The reality check. Let's be honest about what this requires. Research from the Time Use surveys shows that the average American has about 4 to 5 hours of discretionary time daily. For this month, you're converting most of that to income generation. Your social life takes a hit. Your entertainment time disappears. You're tired. Studies on short-term sacrifice show that people can handle this for 4 to 6 weeks before burnout becomes a serious issue. That's why this is 30 days maximum. You're trading 1 month of intensity for financial security that changes your entire life trajectory. The alternative is continuing to operate with zero buffer, where every unexpected expense is a crisis. Research from the Financial Health Network shows that people without emergency savings pay an average of $2,000 annually in fees, interest, and opportunity costs from financial emergencies. You're trading 1 hard month for eliminating years of financial crisis mode. What happens at $1,000? Studies from the J.P. Morgan Chase Institute tracking millions of bank accounts show that households with $1,000 in liquid savings experience 50% less income volatility than households with zero savings. It's not that emergencies stop happening, it's that emergencies stop being catastrophic. Your car needs a $400 repair. You have $1,000 saved. Annoying, but not a disaster. You pay it, you rebuild the fund over the next few months. Your life continues normally. Compare that to having zero savings. That $400 repair goes on a credit card at 22% interest. You're now paying $450 total over the next year, while also dealing with whatever the next emergency is. Research from the Federal Reserve shows that emergency fund adequacy is one of the strongest predictors of financial stability, stronger than income level. Someone making $45,000 with $1,000 saved has more financial stability than someone making $75,000 with zero saved. The month-by-month plan. Here's the realistic timeline breakdown if you execute everything. Week 1. Selling stuff $300. Gig work $260. Total $560. Week 2. Subscription savings $200. Food reduction $50. Gig work $260. Total $510. Running total $1,070. You hit $1,000 by the end of week 2 if you execute aggressively. Weeks 3 and 4 become buffer building, or you can ease off the intensity once you hit the goal. But let's say you don't hit those targets. Maybe you only generate $700 in 2 weeks. Research shows that people who achieve 70% of an aggressive goal still outperform people who set moderate goals by 40%. Getting to $700 in 2 weeks is still massive progress that changes your financial position. The post-$1,000 reality. Data from savings behavior studies shows that people who successfully build their first $1,000 emergency fund are 78% more likely to continue building savings than people who never start. You're not just building a fund, you're building proof that you can do this, which changes how you approach money permanently. Research from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau shows that households with emergency funds report significantly lower financial stress, even when income doesn't change. The security of having a buffer affects mental health, decision quality, and long-term financial outcomes. Once you hit $1,000, you don't maintain the intensity. You transition to sustainable habits. But you do maintain the fund. Studies show that 68% of people who build emergency funds through intense short-term effort successfully maintain them long-term because they've experienced the psychological benefit. The mindset shift. Research from psychology shows that financial scarcity affects cognitive function. Studies from Princeton found that financial stress literally reduces IQ by 13 points temporarily. You make worse decisions when you're in crisis mode because your brain is allocating resources to immediate survival instead of long-term planning. That first $1,000 lifts you out of constant crisis mode. Behavioral economists have found that people with emergency funds make systematically better financial decisions, not because they're smarter or more disciplined, but because their brain isn't hijacked by financial stress. The bottom line: you're going to build your first $1,000 emergency fund in the next 30 days, not by developing perfect budgeting habits or cutting out coffee forever. You're going to do it by being absolutely relentless for 1 month, selling everything you don't need, working every available hour, eliminating every unnecessary expense, and converting every possible resource into cash. It's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be tired. You're going to miss your normal routine. Research shows that's exactly why it works. The intensity creates results that moderate effort over months can't match. And the results change everything. 30 days from now, you're going to have $1,000 in an account that you don't touch except for actual emergencies. When your car makes that noise, you're getting it fixed immediately while it's a $400 problem instead of waiting until it's a $1,200 disaster. When you need new tires, you're buying them instead of driving on bald rubber hoping nothing bad happens. That security, that ability to handle normal life problems without financial catastrophe, that's what changes everything. Not the $1,000 itself. The psychological shift from survival mode to stability mode. From making decisions based on fear to making decisions based on what's actually best. Start this Monday. Week 1, sell everything and start the gig work. Week 2, cut every unnecessary expense. Week 3 and 4, maximize income until you hit the goal. 30 days of intensity for a foundation that changes your financial life permanently. You've got this. Start Monday.